Hey Emma Diddles, so I know you've been having problems with your pastry cream for your puff pastries. I'm going to hook you up, baby doll. This is the way that I've been doing it for at least about 30 years, I reckon. So you want to start with a pot. Nice straight sides, flat bottom. I'm using my trusty old Circulon pot. I'm going to, you have the recipe, so let's see, what is this? A 1/4 cup of plain flour and 3/4 of a cup of sugar and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to take it and mix it all together and get it nice and combined. Because the next thing we're going to do is take 1.5 cups of milk and we're going to blend it in here together. So we're going to pour it in slowly and start it going. And stir. And it's just kind of nice and, till it's nice and smooth. Okay. So, Erin, you might want to come stand over here. Alright, so see, this is all nicely mixed. And it's just going to take a few minutes to get hot, to heat up, and to boil. Now, if you cook it too fast, you know what's going to happen. It's going to get little brown bits in it, and you don't want that for a tea. For puff pastry cream, because, you know, you don't want to be serving these to some fine, highfalutin ladies at a tea or something, and have there be little brown crunchy bits in your custard. No, you definitely don't want that, because then they look at it kind of funny and they think it's suspect, and you definitely don't want that. You want your food to always be as beautiful as it tastes. And what we're doing is Erin has a recital tomorrow night at the Enchanted Harp, and so I'm taking puff pastries,
cream puffs?
Cream puffs, right. Petit chaud à la crème, I think, or something like that. Mm-hmm. You people who speak French would know better than I do what that means. It's been a long day. We're packing, getting ready to move, so this is actually almost like a little bit of a vacay for me, just to stand here and cook and not have to concentrate on sorting and sifting and all that packing and ugh. So I'm going to turn this down just a little bit, and yes, I'm going to break all the rules, and I'm going to use a metal whip in my Circulon pan, but I've been using it in it for years and it hadn't hurt it at all, because I want to be sure that I have, well, it's bubbling because I'm frothing it, but I want to be sure that there are no little lumps left from the combining the flour and the sugar and the salt and the milk. Now, if you want the custard to be a little richer, you can add, you can make it with half and half, or some half and half and some milk, but the only kind of milk I have in the house is whole milk, and I'm out of half and half, and the recipe calls for plain milk, so I reckon that's what we're going to use. It's starting to thicken up just a little bit. Erin's trying to make you seasick with this thing going around and around. Okay, I'll go back to using my
trusty wooden spoon.
As you can see, very well used wooden spoon.
It's even got a little scar on the back of it.
I think it's about 10 or 12 years old at least. Okay, I can see from looking at this that it's starting to thicken up. So, come here, little pot. I have some fancy little stainless steel pots, but the sides of them kind of scoot out a little bit. They're kind of a little bit rounded, and I have found that they are a lot prettier on the pot rack And that's the best place for them for the most part, unfortunately. These nice straight-sided pans really do seem to work the best. Okay, so I can tell, see how nice and smooth. It's starting to look kind of
creamy.
Yeah, almost like Elmer's glue. But it's still gonna, yep, boy, it's really thickening up now. You see this, Emma? Oops, I hear it going sizzle, sizzle, so I've got to be really careful because I know that that means that it's almost ready to boil. You know, the recipe that I sent you, I think it says something like 8 or 10 minutes. I've never had it take that long to boil. I don't know how low they're reckoning that you're going to cook this at.
Medium.
Well, this is my idea of medium, so, I mean, you know.
Who knows?
So it's bubbling, it's thickening. It's really thickening. And I'm going to boil it for a minute because that is what the recipe says. I'm turning the heat down just a little bit. Scraping the sides down there in the corner of the pot, you know, where the side and the bottom come together, and scraping all across the bottom because I don't want there to be any little hidden bits of brown. So now you see how nice and thick it's like pudding, right? So we're going to turn the heat off for just a second. What am I trying to do here? Okay, so I have 6 nice cute little egg yolks. So we're going to scramble them up just a wee bit.
Not too much.
Not too much, yep. And then I'm going to take just a little dab of this and mix it in. And what this will do is it'll help warm the yolks so that they don't just totally spaz out when you dump them in here and turn into scrambled eggs. So I reckon that's probably about enough. So I'm going to carefully scrape this.
It looks like an egg
Ouch.
with a broken yolk.
Yeah, it does look like an egg with a broken yolk. You're right. Okay, so there it is. That's good enough. I'm carefully mixing this in and combining it.
Sure,
And you see how thick it still is. Something else I'm going to do is to take, this is the last of my vanilla beans, and I'm not buying more because I'm moving to Chicago in 3 weeks. So there's no point in buying more vanilla beans and making another gallon of vanilla. So I've scooped all those seeds down into there. And yummy, 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 yummy. So now I'm going to turn this back on, and I'm going to turn it down on medium low. And it'll take it a few minutes to come back up to temperature. And you see it's combining nicely. It just looks golden, doesn't it? It has, looks like good enough for King Midas's table, doesn't it?
It looks like he's touched it.
Oh, no, because then it would be rock hard and solid and nobody could eat it and enjoy it.
So pretty and golden.
You can use this pastry cream for, oh my gosh, all kinds of stuff. You can use it to fill those Boston creams if you ever fool with making anything like that. You could use it in a cake as a layer in between. Over in England, they call those fillings. And then they put something different on the outside. Like, oh, this would be great on a lemon cake with raspberry, cut raspberries or raspberry jam. If you take the layers and split them and cut them in half and put some raspberry jam on them, and then make a batch of this or a half batch of this, and then put this in the very middle of the cake layers where the two whole cakes come together, and then cover the whole thing with lemon frosting. That would be amazing. Okay, now I'm watching this and stirring, and you see it's already ridiculously thick. I can see that I want to combine this a little better, a little more homogeneously. So I'm going to take my whip and beat it just a bit. to be sure that everything is nice and combined. Okay, so if you remember from the directions that I gave you, scanned from the original cookbook, it says the test for doneness is when it coats the back of a metal spoon. Just saying. I'm pretty sure you can tell from looking at this that, well, that's definitely going to coat the back of the spoon. So, now that we have that all squared and out of the way, what I'm going to do is take this and refrigerate it, probably overnight because I've got a lot of stuff to get done tonight. And I'll come back to this tomorrow and well, you know what you do from this point. All you have to do is take your whipped cream. I think it's 1.5 cups of whipped cream after it's had a chance to get ice cold, like overnight, seriously. Or maybe if you make it that morning and that evening you want to do something with it, you can do that. And that gives it time to set up and get really, really cold so that it doesn't break down the whipped cream, because it doesn't do any good for you to whip the cream and get it nice and stiff and then put it into something that's still warm, because it's just going to melt it. So don't do that. Then we're going to make our cream puffs tomorrow in the morning, and we'll do this, and we'll probably combine this with the whipped cream tomorrow afternoon, and I might even drizzle some chocolate over the tops of the cream puffs, so they'll be extra special for Erilyn's recital. You might notice that the spoon never at any point went in here, okay? Because even the smallest amount of saliva, the enzymes in your saliva will break those egg yolks down and they will disintegrate. So, see how nice and thick that is and how creamy that is? So, now I'm going to put my little piece of saran wrap over the top of it and stick it in the fridge on the surface so that it won't form a skin, because then that would be something that would give odd textures to it. You don't want that, because them highfalutin ladies might wonder what was in their cream puffs. So I love you, baby doll. I hope that this works out for you. See you later. Bye.